Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the college football pregame show. If you don't know, through the offseason, I'm going to be picking the whole season conference by conference for college football. Today is the MAC. Last week we had the CUSA, so if you want to go check that out, you're a Conference USA fan, that should be right here in the channel. And during the season, the plan is that me and some friends are going to be doing the show, some picks, some other content college football related every Saturday, 2 hours before kickoff. So let's dive right into it. I'm using college football playoff predictor on the Pro Football Sports Network. They've got a really good layout and interface. There's a lot of ads, so yeah, just bear with me. I'll try and cut as many out as I can. To start the season, we've got Eastern Michigan at Sacramento State. Sacramento State, this will be their inaugural game as an FBS program. Eastern Michigan, I am really high on this year. I think they look pretty solid. Chris Creighton is going into year 13 as a head coach. Noah Kim at quarterback off a 2,800-yard season. Not terrible for a MAC quarterback. The defense looks pretty solid overall too, especially Bryce Llewellyn. He's my pick for Conference Defensive Player of the Year. Got 103 tackles, the safety from Eastern Michigan. Sacramento State has a completely new head coaching coordinators. Alonzo Carter is his first season coaching. The offense is a little bit of a concern for me, although Daniel Sweeney's an exciting freshman running back. I just really am not confident in the quarterback situation, which is probably kind of important if you're going to run an offense. And the entire defensive line recorded 1 sack at the FBS level last year. Every single player on that defensive line combined got only 1 sack. So I'm really not too confident in their defense either. And for those reasons, I'm going to be taking Eastern Michigan on the road to kick the season off. And now we'll get into some non-conference play here in Week 1. Miami of Ohio is by no means a bad team. They're one of the best in the conference this year. But I don't like their chances against Pittsburgh. Although while we're on topic, Chuck Martin has been the coach since 2014. He's been absolutely rocking it in Miami, Ohio. Rodney Nelson is coming off an 1,800 rushing yard year at Monmouth in the FCS, so he looks pretty good. All this to say that I like Miami, Ohio this year. Maybe not as good as they usually are, but still not terrible. Akron, I am kind of excited about as well. I like the Zips this year. Joe Moorhead is slowly righting the ship, despite being declared bowl ineligible because their academic scores were too low last year. They still went 5-7. And despite his 13-35 career record as head coach, the program does still seem to have faith in him, which has to say something. Exciting rushing offense. Jordan Gant returns after a 1,000-yard year. And across 4 quarterbacks, there were only 80 Division I snaps last year, which is not good. The defense is going to have a lot of freshmen at linebacker position, would have some potential. I'm still going to take Wake Forest at home. I promise once I've yapped about each team at least once, then there will be no more yapping. We'll pick the pace up. Western Michigan might be the best this year. Again, Lance Taylor coming off a 10-4 season with the Broncos. Brock Lowry had a 63% completion percentage last year. Pretty good. Jalen Buckley, 1,000-yard rushing year. So in total, it's a pretty good team. I think I'm going to take the Wolverines at home, though. That's not one that's going to happen for even the best of MAC teams. Toledo, on the other hand, were they, I think, at their normal skill level, I think they could very well beat a bad Michigan State on the road. But their D-line also combined for 1 sack last year across all the players. I'm really not confident in much of this team compared to their usual skill level. Miller just came shy of 1,000 rushing yards while at Mercer, so maybe an okay run offense. I'm going to take the Spartans. And then Ohio at Nebraska. Where are my Ohio notes? There's my Ohio notes. So they had to deal with replacing most of their coaches last year. They promoted Hauser from inside the program. Matt Vetsa transfers in from New Hampshire at quarterback, coming off a 2,600-yard season. Pretty good overall. Should be a solid year for the Bobcats. Maybe not up to par with what they usually have. I'm taking Nebraska at home. And I smell upset here with Ball State at Ohio State. No, I don't. Look, Ball State, going into Ohio State, they still have Mikey Removich, 4-8. A lot of people complained about his play calling last year because that was his job. Jeff Knowles looks like an okay defensive coordinator. He has his work cut out for him, Jeff Knowles. This defense, literally made me throw up a little bit in my mouth while I was researching Ball State. I'm not excited about the Cardinals' defense this year. 3 career sacks at any Division I, at any NCAA level from every single D-line player combined. 43 tackles last season from every single linebacker combined. And their projected kicker's longest field goal last season was 23 yards. So even their special teams is not good. It's really the only hope is that this offense, I suppose, has C.J. Nelson at wide receiver. But they just need some depth, even at wide receiver. I'm not confident. And their quarterback has 12 career pass attempts, very questionable. In any conference that didn't have UMass, they would be doomed to finish dead last. But there is UMass, fortunately, for the Ball State Cardinals. Nonetheless, I'm taking Ohio State at home it generates little scores. That's not me doing that. Pro Football Sports Network gave us 42-6. I think that might be a little too nice to Ball State. I'm sorry if there are any Ball State fans watching this, but it's going to be a rough year for you. I'm sorry. I hope it's not. I hope you do good, but my studying strongly suggests otherwise. Now, UMass is UMass. They just went 0-12. I guess you got Matthews, who got 36 receptions and 649 yards in the wide receiver room. That's really the only bright spot on this team. I don't trust any of the defense. UMass might have another 0-12 year coming for them. Now, I don't look at the schedule before I do this. I do the picks cold, so I don't really know who's going to win the conference championship looking at the schedules. Last week I was surprised. I was expecting Delaware to win Conference USA, and then for tiebreaker reasons, according to my predictions, they will miss the conference championship. So, yeah, I do this cold. Bowling Green. Okay, this is going to be my hottest take of the video, possibly the season. I love this Bowling Green team going into the season. A lot of other big college football fans, analysts, journalists are not high on them. I've been using Punt and Rally for a lot of my research. Shout out to them. Cool website. Very helpful. Their grading system does not like Bowling Green. CF Budge, the YouTuber, I'm going to be shouting him out a lot. I'd imagine. I think he's also on TikTok. I don't know. Ranked them 9 out of the 13 MAC teams coming out of spring. I think they're going to win the conference. Again, I do the schedules cold, so possibly for tiebreaker reasons, they might miss the conference championship. But, they have Eddie George, yes, that Eddie George coaching. And looking at what he was able to do last year, he might be that good at coaching. He is my pick for Conference Coach of the Year. You got backup from Oregon transferring in, Novosad. He's very unproven, but he has a lot of potential. Dan Lanning doesn't recruit just anybody. They got a good running back pair. Dawson's a great slot receiver at 5'8". He got 575 receiving yards last year. Kentrell White is an excellent grab at high school at tight end. The defense I'm most excited about because they have none other than Kal-El Pascal. His name is Kal-El, which literally translates to Hebrew as voice of God, but it's also Superman. So his name is like the coolest name ever in 2 different ways. And he is Superman on the defense. He got 80 tackles last year. He got several interceptions. I am very excited about Bowling Green, and I think they can handle Tarleton State with no issues. Buffalo, let's see, they got Pete Lembo, 9-4 in 2024, dropped to 5-7 last year. Bringing a new offensive coordinator in, has experience with Lembo. Let me see. Their current projected starting quarterback has no FBS experience, and I wouldn't be surprised if the incoming freshman McNeil would start. Let's see, their running back 1, Shelton, only has 4.3 yards per carry and was under 250 yards, so not super impressive. Let's see, took some portal losses to the offensive line. Really an inexperienced offense overall. They don't have a single kicker on roster with a field goal or extra point attempted at the college level. So I am a bit concerned with their special teams. It's a defense that will be leaned on heavily because looking at the offense, I think Buffalo wants to win games 3-0 this year. I just question if the defense can hold up against that kind of pressure. But expect a lot of low-scoring games from the Bulls. Their defense is, admittedly, better than average. You got Let's see, Greer had 74 tackles at safety. Sorry if I'm not using players' first names. I don't remember to write them down, and then I just forget them. So overall, pretty good defense, and definitely can hold up against the University of Albany. Now, Eastern Michigan at San Jose State. This was also an early season game last year. I have not studied San Jose State enough, but looking at where the Mountain West is expecting to be this year, I'm going to take the Eagles. I already talked about them, and the game's in the gray field, so I'm here for Eastern Michigan with this one. Sacramento State, just coming out of the FCS, they have FCS Lindenwood coming to town. I'm taking the Hornets, get their first win as an FBS program. And then Central Michigan. I am pumped for the Chippewas this year. Coach Drinkin made a quick turnaround. In 2025, the defensive unit never allowed a G5 opponent to get more than 28 points. Flores is going to be the quarterback after year one. Now, there's a deep squad of running backs. A lot of running backs there that overall are very consistent. Let's see. Lewis and McIntosh, the receivers, combined for 1,000 yards last year, receiving yards, but they don't have too much help. So it's a high-power offense overall, but I don't know if Flores can drive it. If he can, then you really need to watch out for Central Michigan. But otherwise, I don't think they're going to be able to quite break through this year, despite being a pretty good team overall. Let's see, they got a nice pair of edges. The interior defense does look pretty rough. No one in the linebacker room with more than 30 tackles last year, so not great. Generally, at the college level, I would say that a good linebacker gets about 70 tackles. Maybe at lower levels, I'd even give you down to 50. But 30 is not going to be good enough. And no one with 20 tackles in the safety room. Their kicker has no NCAA experience. So I have some questions about the defense, have some questions about the special teams. But the offense is so good if the quarterback can come through. If Buffalo wants to win games 3-0, Central Michigan wants to win games 63-60. So they look pretty solid. However, New Mexico might be the best team in the group of 6. I'm going to say 6. Group of 6. This year, they look really good. I have a lot of faith in the New Mexico Lobos team, and I think they should be able to handle Central Michigan on the road. But I think we should remember that's a more quality win than I think Central Michigan is normally thought of as. And finally, Kent State, last team I'm going to yap about, and then I'm just going to make picks. So Mark Carney, he took the Flashes from an 0-12 season to 5-7 last year. Drew DeShields had a 6-1 touchdown interception ratio and 2,000 passing yards. He is my pick for conference MVP. Drew DeShields of Kent State, probably the best quarterback in the conference. They also have none other than Dorelist Clark in the wide receiver room. And I don't really care how good you are if your name is Dorelist Clark. And he lives up to his name. He is pretty good looking at his stats, which I forgot to write down. Sorry. The defense I'm not as confident in for Kent State. I'm not saying they're going to completely turn their program around this year, but they're just going to take the next step in the right direction and maybe bring Kent State back up to a higher level of MAC competition overall. That said, they have no chance against South Carolina. All right, now I'm done yapping. We're going to make picks. Eastern Michigan at Michigan State's an easy win for the Spartans, also their second MAC opponent. Bowling Green at Nebraska. I want to pick the upset. I really do, but in Lincoln, that's got to be a win for the Huskers. I already picked Buffalo at FIU in CUSA video. I took the Panthers. I'm sticking with that pick. I'm pretty confident in it. Akron at home should be able to handle Robert Morris. Ball State. I almost want to pick losing to Stony Brook. I really do. Because they're just not a good team this year. I'm sorry if I'm being mean to you. You should give money to the NIL fund if you're offended at me being rude to your team. And maybe if it were a better FCS opponent, I would do it. But Stony Brook is coming off a 6-6 season. If the quick internet search I just made was correct, I'm sorry, Stony Brook. I don't watch enough FCS football. So I'll take the Cardinals to pick a win up. Central Michigan should plow through Colgate. I don't believe the Raiders, who also share a name with a toothpaste company, are the most intimidating opponent, especially at home. Kent State at home can handle Wofford. Miami of Ohio should be able to breeze right past the Crusaders of Holy Cross. But I don't think even UMass is going to lose to Sacred Heart. I'm sorry. They're not a program that invests very much money in football, Sacred Heart. I'm going to stick with the Minutemen, which means they get a win. Good job, UMass. You get a win. Assuming my predictions are correct. Toledo should be able to take care of an FCS opponent. Western Michigan, let's see. No, they don't. Yeah, Western Michigan can handle Monmouth. Sacramento, whoa. Hang on, what are these scores it's giving me? It's tripping out again. 28-2 and 32-11. 11 is the most disgusting achievable score in football that is north of 5. What are we doing, Pro Football Sports Network? Please generate better scores. Come on, man. Fresno and Sacramento State. I haven't studied the Mountain West nearly as much as I should have. No, they're in the pack. Fresno's in the pack, that's right. But word has it they're pretty good. I'm going to take Fresno at home against Sacramento State. Going into week 3, Western Michigan I'll take on the road against Rice. I think they're a good enough football program. Maybe if we dismiss my Bowling Green take as buying into hype a little too much, then they're probably the best in the conference. But they can handle the Rice Owls on the road, who are one of the, not one, not two, but 3 Owls in the American Conference. And my team, my football team, is in a conference with 3 teams called the Owls. That's weirdly depressing. Anyway, Cincinnati this rivalry has a name. Battle for the Governor's Bell, I think? Something like that. Anyway, Miami, Ohio finally gets a shot at their rival, but this is not the year for it, if you ask me. I know other people are high on them. I don't see it in the Red Hawks this year. I'm going to take the Cincinnati Bearcats. Let's Bowling Green at Iowa State. Bowling Green's put together a pretty tough schedule. Iowa State and Nebraska. But I don't see either of those being wins, even after Iowa State was just absolutely wrecked by the departure of Matt Campbell. Minnesota should be able to take care of Akron. Something's telling me, no, it gave me a 5. This Pro Football Sports Network is listening to me. Anyways, something tells me that Ohio State, I just got a feeling that they can beat Kent State in Columbus, in Buckeye Stadium. I'm going to go with this Ohio State team. And then Penn State at home, who was on the winning end of Matt Campbell's departure, which I just talked about, should plow right through Buffalo. Wisconsin gets an easy win. Liberty, I picked winning against Ball State. I am even more confident in that pick than the last time I made it. Central Michigan versus Wyoming. I don't know too much about Wyoming. I really do need to study the Mountain West and the Pac some more. But for now, I think I'm going to stick with Central Michigan. I think they're a good enough team. UMass, I don't know how they get away with this, plays 2 FCS opponents because they really need wins. Honestly, it's UMass. They're coming from a 0-12 season. Let them have it. I'm going to take the Minutemen. They need 2 wins. And then North Dakota State and Sacramento State, the 2 teams coming from the FCS to the FBS this year. I think North Dakota State is just so much better. Sacramento State has long-term potential. North Dakota State has been running at a high-tier G5 level for about the past decade. I'm taking the Bisons. Not Bison, Bisons. I know it's grammatically incorrect. That's what they do. I don't know. Toledo, I think, can beat Temple at home. I haven't looked at Temple as thoroughly as I would like to. I think the Rockets should be able to handle me even if they're in, I guess, a down year by Toledo standards. I put them 4th in my power rankings. Ohio at South Alabama. I know nothing about South Alabama. For now, on the road, considering the average skill of a Sun Belt team, I'm going to take the Jaguars. There's a very distinct possibility I changed that pick. But for right now, I'm taking South Alabama to win at home against Ohio. Miami will beat Central Michigan by at least 40 points. No, I think Central Michigan can hold it to a 35-point loss. UNLV can beat Akron on the road. I tend to not doubt UNLV unless we're playing them, in which case we're going to beat them. Bowling Green at South Florida. Okay, here's the deal. One of my co-hosts of this show, who will not be with us for the preseason, is a South Florida fan. I believe I've talked about this already. He's going to be so mad if I pick Bowling Green to beat them. And I think I'm going to do it, maybe for reasons other than that. I know South Florida is probably a better team, but I'm just feeling this Bowling Green team, and I don't think there's any other way to really wake people up to what Eddie George is secretly brewing in Bowling Green, Ohio, not Kentucky, than beating a really good G5 opponent like South Florida, unless they walk into Iowa State and take them out, but I don't see that one happening. Buffalo and Eastern Michigan beat FCS opponents. Kent State beats an FCS opponent pretending to be an FBS opponent. I gotta stop being mean to Ball State. I know they're going through a bit of a down year, but Mike Yuremovich is not a bad coach. I'm going to stop being mean to them. If you're a Ball State fan, please donate to their NIL fund. They need it so bad. Miami of Ohio, I'm going to take it home over UConn. I think that UConn is probably going to be pretty good this year. I'm just feeling an at-home win here for the Red Hawks. That's the kind of stuff that happens in college football, especially at the G5 level. You can't explain it. At home, sometimes you just win games you're not supposed to win. Ohio against an FBS opponent. Sacramento should handle the NAIA school known as the Massachusetts Minutemen. Sacramento State. San Diego State and Toledo. San Diego State's usually pretty good. So's Toledo. Last time San Diego State played a MAC team, they won 6-3 against Northern Illinois. And I don't know if Toledo can survive a defensive battle such as that I think San Diego State will try and force them to. They're usually very good on the defensive end of the ball. I'm going to take the Aztecs on the road. And in the Bronco Bowl, it's not called that, but it is now. Boise State at Western Michigan. These are some of the top teams in the group of 6. Yes, 6. Boise is probably the favorite, as always, to be the group of 6's representative in the college football playoff. Western Michigan's not bad either. I think I'm going to take Boise State. Close game, such as the 35-32 score, which was generated here, is entirely possible. I'm going to take Boise State for now. I could see that upset happening. I really could. Toledo at Ball State, easy win for the Rockets. Western Michigan, I think, can handle Buffalo on the road. Central Michigan at home's got Akron. Kent State at Ohio. I almost want to pick that upset, and I think I'm going to. DeRealist Clark and the boys are going to go take care of Ohio. And I know this is, again, standards at Ohio are just higher than some of these other teams in this conference. I just see Kent State coming out this year. I think Mark Carney's got a good squad together. I'm going with the Golden Flash. Golden Flashes. I don't know. Miami, Ohio at Bowling Green. Okay. Under normal circumstances, this is a safe win for Miami, Ohio. Under current circumstances, this game is a coin toss. Because Bowling Green's so good, but Miami, Ohio is always good. You know what? We're going to do a team comparison. I said I was done yapping. I lied to you. I'm not done yapping. Ronnie Nelson's a great running back. I think Miami, Ohio's too outclassed. I'm going with Bowling Green. I just made that decision in real time. Again, I don't look at schedules. I really didn't. I'm not sure. But I think I'm going to go with Bowling Green. Eastern Michigan can beat UMass. No trouble. Northwestern. Ball State, you know what? Considering the roster that they have, I should commend them for playing, 3 Power 4 schools? They played 2 Power 4. They played 2 Power 4 schools with the roster that they have. That respect to them. Eastern Michigan and Akron. This seems like a golden opportunity for an upset, but even though it's outside Ypsilanti, Chris Creighton's a really consistent head coach. Even amidst recent struggles, I think I'm going to take the Eagles, even though I almost think Akron's going to win. And that 1-5 record is not at all representative of the skill that this team has, but that's just how I feel like the season's going to start for them. Bowling Green at home's an easy win over Sacramento State. Miami, Ohio on the road. Ohio at home, I think, knocks off Central Michigan. I'm just feeling it at home, especially after the loss I just picked them with. It's weird stuff happens, all I can say. Toledo at home against Buffalo. By the way, I know there's so many rivalries in this conference. Like, if I miss one, it's not because I, didn't know about it or don't think it's important. It's just all these teams hate each other, which I love. That's awesome. So, yeah, if I don't mention your rivalry game as it comes up, sorry. Just too many, I guess I forgot about it. Western Michigan at home against Kent State. I'm going to go with the Broncos. That's again, Mark Carney's team. I really like them this year, but I don't know if they have the overall skill. South Florida, I don't think, is going to lose to 2 MAC teams. Bowling Green can handle Ball State. UMass is no match for Buffalo. Western Michigan, okay, all right, here it is. It's the Michigan MAC Trophy. It's a 3-way thing. It's like the Army, Navy, Air Force. I'm really excited to see how it plays out this year because I think Central Michigan wants to beat you 63-60. Western Michigan's more balanced. Their rush offense is really good. Again, I just question Flores too much at quarterback. I don't mean to pin one loss on one person. But looking at the offenses comparatively, this is going to be an offensive showdown. Even at home, I don't think the Chippewas have enough. I'm going to go with Western Michigan. Toledo at Eastern Michigan. This is one of those circumstances and scenarios where weird stuff happens. And I'm going to take the Rockets for really no reason other than they're good enough that it can happen. And it seems like Eastern Michigan's kind of due. I'm going to take the loss there for the Eagles. Miami, Ohio versus Akron. Same deal here. I'm just feeling an Akron win here. It's just inexplicable things happen because that's why they play the games. Numbers can tell you Miami, Ohio is going to win. Then we would just pick the season before it starts and not play. I'm feeling the Zips here. I like Joe Moorhead at coach. I think they win. Ohio can take care of Sacramento State. UConn and UMass in their rivalry matchup should be one of the easier victories for the Huskies. I really don't like the new UConn logo, by the way. I know a lot of UConn fans are with me here. Change it back. The old one's better. I don't know. I just noticed that when I clicked on them. Ball State versus Sacramento State really comes down to who's at home. And unfortunately for Alonzo Carter, because I really like Sacramento State's coaching staff, but I don't think they have a talented enough roster. Ball State at home, Mikey Renovich, also a good coach. I'm going to take the Cardinals just because they're at home here. Buffalo, I don't think, is going to be the one that takes care of Bowling Green at home. I'm sticking with the Falcons. Central Michigan in... Dadgummit. Are they in Lansing? I don't know. Please tell me. I think... Oh, it's the wagon wheel rivalry. I like both of these teams, but Drew DeShields is a really good quarterback. I don't know if I trust the Akron offense enough. I'm taking Kent State at home, getting them to 4-4. Ohio beats Eastern Michigan at home because it's at home and that kind of thing happens. And Toledo at home. I don't know if they're as talented as Western Michigan, but the game's in Toledo. I'm going with the Rockets. I think they get win number 6, punch their ticket to the postseason. Then in week number 7, Kent State at Sacramento State. Sacramento State, it's at home. That's a long travel distance. I feel like the Hornets are going to pick one up there. And this one, what may very well be a conference championship preview, is Bowling Green at Western Michigan. The game's in Kalamazoo. I'm going with the Broncos. I think they're a strong enough team. Normally, maybe if the game were in Bowling Green, it would go the other way. Eddie George is apparently a really good coach. I don't think Bowling Green are going to be able to take care of Western Michigan on the road. Ohio and Akron. These two teams, I think Akron might even be better, just looking at the overall roster comparatively. Maybe not. At home, I'm going to give it to the Zips. They're not quite out of bowl contention just yet. Eastern Michigan and Central Michigan. Game 2 of 3 in the Michigan MAC Trophy. The game's in the Iron Field, the little gray field. It's very cool because it's like steel. I don't know what it's called, but it's very cool. I'm going with the Eagles. They're going to punch their ticket to bowl season, get them win number 6. Buffalo at Miami, Ohio. Those are two, I wouldn't say even teams, but they seem to be struggling as of late. I'm going to take Miami, Ohio. The Red Hawks at home, I think, can pull it out. Ball State at UMass, because on the one hand, they're both terrible. On the other hand, is UMass worse enough to lose at home? And as ridiculous as this matchup is, I want to watch this game. This could be very well the battle to decide the worst team in college football. I know Ryan McGee from ESPN, who does his weekly bottom 10, is going to be waiting for this one. I'm going to take the Minutemen at home. Yeah, I'm going with UMass. And Toledo, maybe not as good as the 7-2 record suggests, but they're pretty solid overall. I think they beat Sacramento State, knocking them out of bowl contention. Western Michigan should be able to get past Akron on the road. Buffalo will beat Ball State. Bowling Green gets a win at home. Central Michigan gets a win at home. Miami, Ohio, I want to see this game. This looks like a really even matchup. It'll be fun to watch. They're both maybe roughly at the same level. Miami, Ohio is probably a little bit better. Where are my Miami, Ohio notes? Where did they go? Oh, they're there. But again, I don't think I trust the Red Hawks overall enough. I'm taking the Bobcats, win number 6. And it looks like the MAC is going to be very well represented in bowl season where we are at now. Toledo, I think, gets 8-2. I think they're top of the conference. They're undefeated in conference play. I don't know how this happens, but it looks like it. Buffalo and Central Michigan. I like the... Oh, do I like the Bulls here? No, I don't. I'm taking the chips on the road. Kent State versus Miami, Ohio. Sure, why not? Mark Carney's team. I think I've said Mark Carney like 5 times today. Dorelis Clark and the boys pick up the win at home. Akron at UMass should be an easy win for the Zips, really. Ohio at home, I'll take them against Ball State. I'm taking Bowling Green on the road against Toledo. I'm just so high on this team. I really have a lot of faith in Bowling Green just as a unit, not like any one particular player or person, because their coaching is so good. Their offense is so good. Their defense even is pretty good. And Kal-El Pascal is awesome. And for the third and final installment of the Michigan MAC Trophy, Western Michigan, always very good. But I think I'm taking Eastern Michigan on the road, even though the game's not in Ypsilanti. The game's in Kalamazoo. I'm sticking with the Eagles. I think they win this year's Michigan MAC Trophy. Congratulations if my predictions are correct. Akron, I'm going to say, beats Buffalo at home. Akron finishes 5-7. Buffalo at 4-8. Central Michigan beats Ball State on the road, giving Central Michigan 7-5. Very good. Ball State 2-10. Maybe not the most impressive. Bowling Green is going to be 9-3, 7-1 in conference play. My predictions are correct. And UMass finishes with 3 wins. So good job, UMass. Much better than I think most people would be expecting. Then Eastern Michigan, Kent State. I'm going to take the Eagles to finish with 8 wins. Ohio versus Toledo. That's, because Toledo's probably better, but the game's in wherever Ohio is. I think I'm going to take the Rockets on the road, finishing 7-1 in conference, which is a lot better than I expected. And then Western Michigan at home gets to win against Miami, Ohio. Solid finish. For some reason, Sacramento State's playing Hawaii in the last week of the season. I'm going to take the Rainbow Warriors. We're going to finish with Bowling Green and Toledo in the conference championship, both of them 9-3. I did pick Bowling Green to win the game in the regular season. So it comes down to the conference championship. It's very hard to beat the same team twice. But Bowling Green, I think, is that good. I'm going to take the Falcons, of all teams, to win the MAC. That'll be it for this week. Bowling Green finishes atop of the MAC. 10-3 final record. Toledo will be 9-4. Overall, Coach of the Year projection, Eddie George, Bowling Green. MVP, Drew DeShields, Kent State quarterback. Offensive Player of the Year, Rodney Nelson of Miami, Ohio, running back. And Defensive Player of the Year, safety from Eastern Michigan, Bryce Llewellyn. That will be all of my MAC predictions. Thank you very much for watching. If you have a friend who's a MAC fan, send this to them. That'll do it for today. Next week we will have the Mountain West. We will see you then.